Hey, welcome back, good people. We are back for another episode of the Family Bloodline Podcast. We are on the road currently, however, we still gonna keep pushing forward and doing what we do. As always, we welcome everybody in, and just to get a little bit ahead of the topic for tonight, we will be continuing to read the One Big Beautiful Bill that was signed into law on the 4th of July. But today we're going to be covering Medicaid and Medicare, and we'll read directly from the HR bill. Disclaimer, real quick. Disclaimer, views expressed are those held by the author and do not represent any organization, company, corporation, or entity. So, with that being said, just jumping in here real quick. Deuce won't be with us. He is on the road right now. So we are down one, but we will always push and publish the actual link if anybody wants to come up and give their view about what we're talking about, so that you can join the panel, because we are live and this is what we're doing. Don't say something in the comments and be scared to get up on the panel and defend your statement. Don't do that to us. No, not at all. Come on in and talk to us. So with that being said, Rich, how are you?
I'm doing just fine. Let's get to it.
Let's get to it. So we were just having a quick discussion right before we went live, and we were talking about the different things that the current POTUS would do. And the last statement that I made was, I refuse to believe that you, as a man, would do and say something that would jeopardize your moral integrity and compass. And then you were about to saying you were about to respond to that.
Right. So a lot of people say that this current president is a 34-time felon. I don't believe that. Yes, he was convicted in court, but I don't trust the court system. Now, as a black man, a lot of black men, we don't trust the court system. So I have a felony. President Trump has a felony. We share that in common. When you say that some of the things he has said has been so haphazard, I've been accused of being just like him. So before I can really judge him or look at him and his actions, I got to first look at my own actions.
So with that being said, give me an example of what people have said you have put them in the mindset, or that are the same thing as Trump.
They said that when I became president of Local 1000 that I was going to destroy the union. Just like they say President Trump's going to destroy the country. I was told that they sent the cops to my house, saying a woman inside my house screaming for her life the day after they announced the election. Now, they say that President Trump, there was an attempted assassination of President Trump in July of 24. Some people say that was real. Half the country says it's real. The other half says it's not real. I stopped there. At a certain point, no matter what we say about each other or whatever, everybody's perception is more powerful than what's stated in fact, what's stated in law. One judge will tell you this is their interpretation of the law. Another judge will tell you this is their interpretation. Unless it's so clear cut and overwhelmingly one way or the other, there is no more truth, unfortunately, in our country.
I won't say that there is no more truth. But what I will agree with, however, is that people have perverted the truth, and they found ways around. Oops, give me 1 second. I hit the wrong button. I almost left the studio. And they found ways around doing things, the intent of being within the intent of the law, and they've bent the will of the law to work for them. That's what I would say about that, especially when it comes to the political stratosphere that we are living in currently. One of the things that has become commonplace is, and we've always known that this was a thing. It's just that it's so bold and brazen at this point that a lot of us are kind of left a bit aghast. Is the corruption that we are seeing go forth, and it's not. I'm not going to spell out a specific or a particular party, but what I will say is, because it's being done in the manner and the fashion that it's being done, and because there is no real pushback against it, lets me know that one or two things are happening. Either one, um, it's something that the opposing party is kind of like sandbagging and hanging on to so that they can do the same thing in the future, or two, they won't speak out against it because they've already committed a very similar act.
Agreed. Agreed.
So,
Yeah.
so it's showing a huge array of corruption in both the Democratic Party, the Republican Party, as well as the executive offices, not discounting the Supreme Court at this point. As we see, they've allowed some things, like a lot of us have been looking and following their rulings and just been like, wait, there's no way they're going to rule on this in this way. Just for us to be like, oh goodness, they did. And they're going to continue to. You said something a while ago that is actually it's being proven real. And that is they being the Supreme Court, they're not going to continue to rule against the person who got them in their seats, essentially. And so, as a trifecta, all three branches have fallen into a position of corruption, uh, malignancy, uh, and they have an overall distrust from the American public that nothing, a lot of the things that they're doing and saying, we can't take as genuine, unfortunately. So I'm gonna turn on that light.
I was waiting on him to start talking.
Got some light happening.
Yes.
Yeah, not at home at the studio. So,
Right.
yeah. So what's your take on that?
I agree. I mean, when you talk about the bill, to some people, the bill is a monster. To some people, they say it's about time. Is it a little in between? Possibly. But if you look at the bill, the temporary tax reductions for those who qualify, take that language on TV enough, it's very similar to what they're saying about Epstein. Release all the information. But President Trump says, hey, get over it. There's nothing to release. And now I'm going to put out an order to get it released. And now the judge that says in Florida, we're not going to release it. All this stuff that's going on today in America is perception. Now, what he's trying to do is, okay, if you say my big, beautiful bill is not good enough, and now you're trying to railroad the bill with the Epstein release, so the Democrats fought in the House, and now they had to go on their vacation early because they couldn't get anything done.
That's
so
crazy. But go ahead, yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah. So I'll try to represent real quick. And so, how does President Trump deal with the Epstein fallout from his strong MAGA base? Here's how he does. Is there a black man in the room I can blame it on? Oh, President Obama, perfect one. Let's go to work. I stopped there.
No, I don't want you to stop there. I want you to keep going because you are.
When people listen to this show, I think initially people thought that I was a Republican. I said I wasn't. And then sometimes I say things and they say, oh, you're a Democrat. No, I'm not that either. But I'm looking at it, I'm trying to be as unbiased without letting my own personal life affect how I look at matters.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, your own personal experiences in life is going to shape how you view things. Whether you're an average person, whether you're a big shot judge in the courtroom, whether you're a congresswoman or man, your personal experiences along with your upbringing, maybe your zodiac sign, I don't know, it's going to affect. And what you're seeing here in this country, in my opinion, no one's happy, no one's satisfied. The truth can't be, you can't even tell the whole truth. This game is so sophisticated. Our CIA is really, quote, our go-getter organization outside of the military.
Mm-hmm.
Empower another country, the CIA goes in there and gets you out of power. So in a sense, we're really no different than Hamas oh God, I hate to say that word, Hezbollah, Al Qaeda, the Houthis. So every country has its own go-getter group. And then you have your professional go-getter group. That's called the military.
Yeah.
So all this stuff is going on in the world. So we don't even know if the stuff they're saying about President Obama is really true, or is it a mixture of truth?
So a lot of the stuff that A.G. Bondi has pushed out here recently, and that started with Tulsi Gabbard, which is ridiculous because I would think that she would have known better. I don't know if she's still serving, but I know at one point she was a lieutenant colonel or major in the United States Army. She was with the Civil Affairs Command that I was under as well. And I would think that there would have been more, but then, you know, I don't want to label it this, but I think it's part of it. It's a position and a maneuvering of sycophancy. But she knows that what she said and the things that she's come out with has been proven to be false. None of what she said actually holds any weight. So it's an odd thing that she would start pushing that. However, I do understand her boss told them, you know, hey, you guys need to find something else to talk about. We need to position and get something else out there for people to actually focus on. And so she's supporting the mission, as it were. Unfortunately.
Yes. Yeah.
That's the only way. And I'm not trying to justify her actions. I'm just simply trying to understand. And again, not being loyal to any of these parties and any of these factions, trying to see things as unbiased as possible, regardless of how it makes me feel. Because when you have to support a mission, it doesn't matter how you feel about it. What matters is completing and supporting the mission in the position that you're playing. And she's doing that. Marco Rubio, who was on the committee that published the data that she's using, he holds multiple positions in this administration, right? And this is one of the things that leads the American public to lose faith in our political leaders, because we're watching them lift and shift and become such a different type of chameleon over different parts of of this administration that is like, wait, who are you now? What do you support? What are you saying at this point? How can I trust you? So I don't think it's just about the person that's occupying the seat. It's about the political figures, the politicians who are going to continue to be in these seats after the current president, because they're going to continue this same bullshit, unfortunately. So I'll pause it there. I'm trying to get you on, so your camera's going in and out on us. I see you trying to get up. I'll add you to the stage. Hopefully, there you go. What's going on, bro? And he left. I don't know what's going on with Zoe right now. Well, whatever the case. So yeah, that's where I am with it. That's why, and I haven't run for an election yet, because it's still possible. And I'll have to test my mettle when that time frame comes to, see what I'm willing to say and what I'm not willing to say, what I'm willing to do, what I'm not willing to do. And if my morals, ethics, and integrity will, very similar to yourself, have me pushed out of a position, because I won't go for the traditional BS.
So here's my thing. No one really knows what they'll do until they're put in that position.
I agree to that.
I was put in that position and I still held true to my word. So they said, we got to run you out because we can't use drugs and alcohol. We can't use women. We have to go on your past. They got to dig out every single thing you did wrong in your past. And we're going to slander you every which way but loose, starting with your ex-wife. So that's fine. But you don't really know. And because I self-financed my own campaign from 2015, 2018, 2021, probably close to 80 to 100,000. I don't make any money, but all my money was going to run in a campaign. So I could say what I want to say. But when you take money from a lobbyist and you have a great chance to take that money and win that position and have that power and enhance yourself financially to where if you say, well, hey, I want to get married again, blah, 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 and I want to have a beautiful home and blah, 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 those lobbyists will make that quite easy for you to obtain that.
Ah.
And so now you say, well, do I want to stay where I'm at, or do I want to get married again, take my kids and my new wife to this beautiful big home? Now you got some tough decisions.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and most people who run for U.S. government in either house, normally they're highly educated.
Yeah.
But they take the money from the lobbyists. Now, I actually pulled down something off of Facebook. I don't know if it's accurate. It's probably not. Where President Trump was saying that he wanted to end all insider trading, or quote, he wanted to end all political options.
Mm-hmm.
So if you are in the Congress, whether it's the House or the Senate, you cannot make any stock sales.
Ah.
Now, it should be you or your spouse, actually, or anyone connected to you, or I don't know how they would stop that. That would be a great thing, because right now you have the Congress voting on bills that impact stock options, that impacts the stock market. That's clear-cut corruption. Now, so when they talk about President Trump being corrupt, well, it was all baked in to begin with, but he's bringing it all out in front of you. He's letting you see. So, when I look at this situation, and you made a great point about everything they're doing in the office right now, you see, either one, they're pushing a false narrative. Well, I'm sorry, either one, there's no pushback against the corruption, or two, they've committed similar actions, so they're afraid if they say something, then he'll come back on them.
Yeah.
Both points are accurate. But the most important point you've made so far is you said, in the future presidents are going to imitate the current actions of this president.
Mm-hmm.
In other words, everything that President Trump's doing, he don't want to see no black folks. Because every time he saw a black person before he got reelected, they were trying to put him in jail. Okay, I get it. Well, if you get a Democrat in office, they're going to hire everybody that you fired in the U.S. government. They're going to hire all those people back. And then they're going to create more positions in the U.S.
Yeah.
And then they're going to come for him.
Yep.
With everything they got, if they can get control of both houses.
Yep.
So he's mad because he thought they were coming from him to where he couldn't win the 2020 election, and they tried to put him in jail. Then they tried to shoot him. So he said, well, now that I'm back on top, here's the payback.
Yeah.
You can't absolutely blame him. And that's why this big, beautiful bill, he's taking care of his rich friends, of course. He's trying to temporarily take care of the middle class temporarily until he's on his way out of office in 28. But this big, beautiful bill is really a reflection of who he is.
That's a fair statement.
So if you don't trust his business sense, you say, well, he's gone through all these bankruptcies before, so why would I trust him to lead the country? That's your opinion.
Sure, yeah. And I will absolutely agree that is flat out opinion. Absolutely. So,
hey,
home, my brother. How you doing?
How's it going, guys? Sorry, I'm
Good.
I'm in
You
the
were having some
basement.
issues back there, bro.
Huh?
You were having some issues trying to hop on.
You know what? I'm not. I'm a low tech man in a high tech world. That's what I said. No, it's because you know what? I thought this was a recording for some reason, and
No.
I was trying to copy and paste to go onto the application, but I couldn't do it. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna just hop on in a little bit once I get the queue. Which amazing things happen when you trust the process.
Indeed.
But I'm just like in awe because I knew things have been. What day is this? Tuesday, Wednesday?
That's a good question. I think Wednesday.
Okay. What a work week we're having with all these other news. And usually I don't tap into the news because if you're paying attention and being distracted by this, and I say this, it's taking a step back because as an American, I'm just wondering, we're talking about this, but what else should we be talking about other than this? Because for the longest, I almost feel like they showed us something like, if we're talking about the same thing, by the way, like, oh, the sky is blue and the grass is green, and breaking news, right? Because uh, like neither left or right kind of work for us given the circumstances. It feels kind of like I'm working my butt off. uh how come it doesn't feel like the rest of the upper echelon people are doing the things that I'm doing, uh quote unquote, if that makes sense, meaning that, like, it feels like you go to school, you get educated, you start following a certain, paradigm. You get to a certain plateau, and then you're like, okay, keep going or turn around and start over. Given the fact that Ozzy Osbourne just passed away, we must all go to the beginning once we reach a certain plateau. Because if we're going to refine this experience, we can't be doing. You know what? I heard, and I might be all over the place. Typical me. I'm ordering chaos, right? Uh, I heard that slavery today is white history, and black history is surviving slavery. And this is coming from, I may be miscuing it, but this is from the gentleman that just passed away from the Cosby Show.
Malcolm Jamal Warner.
Yeah, and it's because he has been, in a way, such an influence to us minority people. I remember I used to watch the Cosby Show all day long on Fox, because that's what the summer thing to do in the morning was. Once you heard the song, no matter where you are in the house, you ran to watch the Cosby Show. And so, given the fact that, like, we give homage and respect to such brilliant minds, and then when we lose them because we think we have time with them, and then all of a sudden, they're not here, we're sitting wondering how come we don't have those kind of leaders in those positions to make the most important decision for us all, for the greater good of this country. So then, if we can be a city on a hill, then we can really truly be a city on a hill. But if we're going to have, like, social media giving us all these flashes of, like, look at this BS. Look at this BS. React. What do you think? Facebook telling us, how do you feel about this?
Well,
and
so
Wait, hey, hold on. Zoe, I'm brought up about Ozzy Osbourne. So for the next hour and a half that we're on here, whatever, I'm going to say things that only you will know. And Mr. Glass won't have a clue. So the first thing you said about, they put all this stuff up for us to react. So the first thing I'm going to say is a shot in the dark, bark at the moon. Go ahead.
I'm very familiar with Ozzy. Very familiar with Ozzy.
Wow, yes. But, I mean, that's where I feel kind of like I'm so exhausted on that spectrum where, like, can we get a mature adult in the room?
No, we can't. And I'll tell you why. People who attend the MITs of the world don't go into politics, right? The Cambridges, the Yales, generally speaking. Now, some of them go into that strata, but they weren't the hardest hitting student of their classes.
Mm-hmm.
In most cases, sometimes we do get the best out of those institutions, but oftentimes we don't. And so we're not going to have adults in the room because that's not what that arena demands. Unfortunately, our political strata demands nothing more, nothing less than what the current president is showing us. And this is the part that I deeply agree with him on, because all of this shit is nothing more, nothing less than for entertainment purposes.
Wow.
Unfortunately, as much as what they're doing is going to affect us and our children, it's all performative. And the person who has the best performance is the person who's going to get the most votes. It doesn't matter if they're telling the truth. It doesn't matter if they're going to hurt the constituents. They're performative, and so they're performing for a reason. They're performing for an applause.
Do
That's
you,
what it's for.
do you think that America right now is on a crazy train? Do you think that Americans are paranoid?
And hey, we're going off the rails. Absolutely. Yeah.
We've
And
never seen this. We've never seen this inconsistency, instability.
that's not true. We
We have.
absolutely have. Yes. Listen, one of the biggest misnomers or lies that have come out of what's happening now is that America is now in a constitutional crisis. That's nothing new for us. That's nothing new for Latinos and the descendants of the enslaved peoples of America. We have always been in a constitutional crisis. The difference is the movement of assimilation, because now the folks who voted him in there, they are not able to identify nor assimilate with the information that's being pushed out, because it's this administration that has the most billionaires that have ever been on in an administration. They're ruling for the rich class. Our politicians have always ruled for the rich class.
So
The veil is just lifted. Like, no, y'all really ain't one of us. We don't even need you no more.
so you're trying to tell me that you call them the MAGA people of Trump. You're trying to tell me that by them, quote, they're trying to, quote, make America great again. I don't know, flying high again. I don't know. So you're saying that all that, their ability to fly high again, they can't sympathize because they're so, I don't know, they're so full of iron, like Iron Man or something like that, that they have no type of ability to rationalize or sympathize with other people outside of their group.
It's not that they can't.
They choose not to.
It's not even that they choose not to. It's that they don't know. They don't know. Well,
Did they forget?
No, let me pull that back and peel that onion out a little bit. From the inception of America, our politicians again have ruled for the rich, wealthy white man, right? And that's never changed. It's not even the bourgeoisie, because the bourgeoisie is something totally different, right? The bourgeoisie, that term in and of itself, was something that came from an antebellum era dealing with France. The French bourgeoisie, that's what that came from. It came from the goodness gracious.
I can't. Go ahead.
I'm trying to think of the actual term of it, but it was a resistance period in France.
French Revolution, 1789.
It was close to that. It was during the revolution, but there was a specific term that they were using at the time, and the bourgeoisie, that class is something, that's where that phrase began to come from. But what happened, in order for the biggest group of people, which were white men in general, to attach themselves on to the smallest group of people, which were the rich white man, there had to be a conveyance of identification. There had to be a parlance of, you are me and we are you. And we don't have to humanize all these black people we're bringing in from Africa because we're better than them. Not understanding the bigger group of white men, not understanding that they were no better than the slaves that were being brought over. Actually, they were worse off because they were being played as fools. And what this administration has done is simply begun to remove the veil and flat out say, yeah, we'll take care of you a little bit. We'll throw you some scraps, but you ain't us. You ain't us. Matter of fact, you ain't us to a tune of almost $5 trillion. You ain't us to a tune of, we're gonna make sure that if you are 64 and under without kids, we still need 80 hours out of you a month in order to get some type of Medicaid. That's what we need from you.
So what? Let me recap if I'm listening and or understanding correctly. That this was from the 1889 period of the merchants treating the middle class, less than, and its history, I guess, does repeat itself. But in how so if they are constraining the working class, meaning that hey, it's time for you to, no matter how much weight you lost already in this hunger situation that you're suffering, I'm gonna go ahead and tighten your belt a little bit more. How much did they tighten it? How much are we gonna be able to be like, oh shit, well, shit's about to burst, sir? Like, how bad is this? I guess the hidden agenda, if that's a question.
I think
Like, how much pressure have they applied with this new
listen,
big bill? That's what I'm saying.
yeah. So a lot of people say, I don't know.
Right? That's a crazy question, because if the numbers are not what they really are, and we're getting okay, let me rephrase. If this is an entertaining situation to get back into the seat, and now they're playing for the midterms, and what I saw earlier today is that the executive office is pointing fingers back and forth for past people that held that chair, and they've started to say this is outrageously ridiculous, and the preposterous stuff that's being dished out is, I guess, that's Nixon like. We're navigating the Nixon mirror situation, because if we do believe, let's just say, I'm playing the advocate here, let's just say I am a poor Republican, which I think I am, or if I play the position to vote into MAGA, again, I'm playing the advocate. How bad are they going to screw us over because I am a working class? And then once the tax situation comes through, all the senior citizens, they're all left out in the cold. Kind of like, if you can't pay up or you can't work, what's going to happen to all disenfranchised people? We already see a lot of homeless people already. So the houses are at an all-time high. Interest, they're not
Just
going, they're going probably higher, right? So
2.4%.
so that's what I'm kind of saying. Could we reach something where we're like both sides of the aisle have totally betrayed the independent side?
We're already there. We're already there.
Wow.
We're already there. Neither one of these sides, and this is something that I keep telling people who keep trying to say, "Oh, you're a Democrat." I'm not a Democrat. Oh, you're a Republican. I'm not a Republican. Oh, you're a libertarian. I'm not a libertarian. I'm an independent. They already have betrayed us, and that was one of the points that I was making, that Rich and I were talking about. Right, one of the reasons why these things continue to happen, and we see such an extreme movement of things happen, is one of two things: either they're pocketing these actions to pull later, or they've already done it, so they can't speak out against it.
So as Ozzy would say,
wow.
Goodbye.
Wow.
Listen to this. Goodbye to romance. What does that really mean? That hidden agenda that Koa N is saying, it's no longer hidden, but it's being presented to you in so many different ways you don't know what to believe. Because when the internet came out years ago and started putting out all the quote conspiracy books to expose the hidden agenda, those in power had to say, hey, we have to fight back. So we have to dilute what's out there and mix it with some lie. And then pretty soon, nobody knows who's telling the truth. Nobody knows. And
It's kind of it's kind of like the Spider-Man meme where all the Spider-Mans are pointing at each other.
Yeah.
Great point.
Yeah.
Great point. Yeah.
For visual effects.
Yeah. Great point.
Absolutely. So
okay.
let me try and paste the link again. In the event that anyone else wants to pop up as well, Zoe, you are more than welcome to stay. We got to get into reading this bill, because that's what I scoured the interwebs, and I was looking to see how many podcasts were actually pulling up the actual bill and not simply talking from opinion-based narratives. but actually pulling it up and reading it. And I haven't seen anybody doing it.
Let's do it.
I haven't. Now, unfortunately, I can't share my screen because of the way my setup is right
Okay,
now.
okay. I'll see you guys. Thanks for letting me participate.
Always, brother. If you want to hop back on in a little bit, by all means, the link is in the.
I'm going to be watching, so stay tuned.
All right.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir. And so I think that's one of the things that becomes dangerous is we can all listen to each other's opinions, but what does the black and white actually say? And I think that's one of the things that's being missed. And it's easy to argue different points when the black and white isn't presented, but it's hard to argue the fact when the black and white is presented. And then people are going off of opinion from that stance. So with that being said, the resource that I'm using is congress.gov. And I am looking at HR 1 from the 119th Congress. I'm looking at my cat. I don't know if you're trying to bite my feet or not. Stir fry. Yeah, he ran off. So today, I was reading it earlier today, and what we're looking at subtitle B, Health, Chapter 1, Medicaid. And it's subchapter A, Reducing Fraud and Improving Enrollment Process is what it's being called. Section 71101. This section delays until FY 2035 implementation of certain provisions of the rule titled Streamlining Medicaid, Medicare Savings Program Eligibility Determination and Enrollment, which was issued by the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services, or CMA, on September 21st, 2023. Specifically, the section delays provisions of the rule that, 1, specify that individuals who must pay a premium to enroll in Medicare hospital services reside in a group payer state and enroll during the general enrollment period may qualify for Medicare Savings Programs, or MSPs, as early as the month of their entitlement to Medicare hospital services. 2, require states to use certain data from the Social Security Administration to facilitate the enrollment of qualifying individuals in both MSPs and the Low-Income Subsidy, LIS, program under the Medicare Prescription Drug Benefit. And 3, align definition of family size under MSPs with the definition under the LIS program. The thing that I want to point out in this paragraph, especially when it comes to the Social Security Administration, the SSA, is I want to remind all the Americans watching and listening that Doge did infiltrate the Social Security Administration, and we have not been able to hear a lot about what they have done inside of those offices. I want to point that out so that I can keep everybody on a spectrum of being inquisitive, not to scare anything or anybody. I'm just saying we haven't been given all the facts of what Doge has done when things have happened. All right, picking it back up. MSPs allow individuals to receive Medicare cost sharing and premium assistance from state Medicaid programs if they meet certain income and resource criteria. The LIS program, also known as the Extra Help Program, provides similar assistance with respect to co-sharing for covered drugs under the Medicare Prescription Drug Benefit. The section provides $1 million for FY26 for the CMS to implement this section and Section 71102 of this Act. Now I'm going to Section 71102. This section delays until FY 2035 implementation of certain provisions of the rule titled Medicaid Programs, streamlining the Medicaid Children's Health Insurance Program and Basic Health Program application eligibility determination, enrollment, and renewal process, which was issued by the CMS on April 2nd of 2024. Nothing significant there just yet, but we'll get there. Give me a second. Specifically, the section delays provisions of the rule that, among other changes, 1, allows state Medicaid programs to verify an individual's U.S. citizenship and identify through certain systems without additional proof of identity, align certain Medicaid enrollment processes for those whose eligibility is not based on income and those that are based on income, and 3, establish additional timelines for Medicaid eligibility terminations, including when there is a change in an individual's circumstances. So again, nothing significant just yet. All of that is just giving outlining background. As we continue to read, I'm sure we'll end up having questions, especially because some of the dates begin to somewhat conflict. Not so much conflict, but it's going to. I'm pretty sure there's going to be like wait a minute. I thought this was FY 2035. Why is it talking about FY 26? But I will continue. Section 71103. This section requires the CMS to establish a centralized system for states to check whether enrollees are simultaneously enrolled in Medicaid or the Children's Health Insurance Program, which is CHIP, in multiple states. Beginning no later than 2027, states must regularly obtain the addresses of Medicaid and CHIP enrollees from specific or specified authorized sources. It doesn't mention what those sources are. It doesn't mention what those sources are at all. Beginning no later than FY 2030, states must report on at least a monthly basis the Social Security numbers and enrollees to the CMS's newly established system. The CMS must notify states on at least a monthly basis of individuals who are enrolled in multiple states so that states may take appropriate action. All right. So it says that this specific program has to have begun no later than 2030. So states can retroactively begin it now. And all that's doing essentially is showing and telling about who might be getting benefits in multiple different states, which I don't know what the percentage of people that are doing that is, or if that even exists as a thing right now. I'm sure it does somewhere, but I've not heard much about it. I've not heard much about it at all. All right. The section provides $10 million for FY 26 and $20 million for FY 2029 for the CMS to establish and maintain the new system respectively. Section 71104. This section requires state Medicaid programs to check, beginning in 2028, the SSA's death master file on at least a quarterly basis to determine whether Medicaid enrollees are deceased, which I don't disagree with that either. Section 71105. This section provides statutory authority for the requirement that state medical programs check as part of the provider enrollment and re-enrollment process whether providers are deceased through the SSA's death master file beginning in 2028. The section requires states to continue to check this database on at least a quarterly basis after providers are enrolled. Again, a lot of this stuff is just regulatory continued rolling over things that they're pushing folks who are on Medicare and Medicaid to actually enroll in. And I need to stop and pause for a quick second just to remind people that Medicaid and Medicare in different states isn't actually called Medicare and Medicaid. It could be called a different name and a different title, which is why people would probably skip over what this is actually outlined, because it doesn't call out their state's actual program specifically, if that makes sense.
So isn't Medicaid state run and Medicare federally run?
It's the opposite. Medicare is state, Medicaid is federal, I think.
No, Medicare is
federal. No, you're right. No, you're right. You're correct. You're correct. Mm-hmm. And one is a supplement to the other. All right. I read that one. Section 71106. This section includes Medicaid payments to individuals for whom there is insufficient information as to their eligibility as erroneous excess payments that may ultimately reduce the state's federal matching funds. These changes apply beginning FY 2030. Section 71107. This section requires state medical programs to redetermine. God, get off of me, silly cat. 711. This section requires state Medicaid programs to redetermine every 6 months, beginning with the first quarter after December 31, 2026, the eligibility of individuals who are enrolled in Medicaid as part of the Medicaid expansion population under the Patient Protection and Affordable Care Act. That act allows states to extend Medicaid coverage to all adults under the age of 65 with incomes of up to 130% of the federal poverty level, including able-bodied adults without dependent children. So, every 6 months, there's a new enrollment process that has to happen. So people, go ahead. Oh, I thought you were about to say something, Rich. I thought you were about to say something. Okay. So people are about to have to begin to continue to re-enroll for the benefits. Mind you, 80 hours is about to be implemented as a necessity in order to qualify for Medicaid, Medicare benefits. If you bust that threshold of 138% below the poverty line, you will no longer qualify for these benefits. And let me pull this comment up. This comment says, if you give to the state's government, then they can control the people. That's what the theory is. But if you take in consideration states like Mississippi, actually, if you just take in the Republican states, it's not always a good look to allow states to do this. But that's another conversation for another time. Where was I? Okay. So this section provides $75 million for FY 2026 for the CMS to implement these provisions. Section 71108. This section caps home equity limits for Medicaid, nursing facility, or other long-term care services beginning in 2028. Currently, in order to qualify for such services, an individual's home equity may not exceed certain limits as set by states in accordance with federal standards and adjusted annually for inflation. For 2025, home equity limits set by states must be between $730K and $1 million. All right. The section caps the maximum home equity limit to a flat $1 million. Okay, so let me reread that. For 2025, home equity limits set by states must be between $730K and $1,097,000. Right. And so what this does is it sets the cap maximum home equity limit to 1 million regardless of inflation. This limit does not apply to homes located in agricultural lots. I don't know if you read between the lines on that or not. Say again.
So you're saying that the house is on a farm, you're okay, you're exempt.
Mm-hmm.
This is why they don't read the bill on TV.
Yeah.
Because it's too long, it's too time consuming. People can't remember all that information. And then if you try to summarize it, then if you don't summarize it correctly, the first thing they say, oh, you said it wrong.
Yeah. But what this looks like, however, is let's take the state of California, for example, right? Let's take, I don't want to take Mountain View because that place is ridiculously expensive. I don't know what the average home is worth in, let's say, Los Angeles or even Sacramento. But I know that they're generally speaking higher than the rest of the country rather. So if your home valuation is $730,000 to $1 million, that knocks your eligibility off, right?
Okay, but people who have homes like that wouldn't necessarily. Well, wait a minute. Hold on. Wait a minute.
Now you're seeing it.
Normally, if a person has a home of that kind of value, they wouldn't be on Medicaid unless you were in Los Angeles and your family had that home from a long time ago and they passed it on to you. So you sit on a home worth over $1 million, $1.5 million, but you're on Medicaid.
Absolutely.
I had to think about that for a second.
Yeah. And so it's easy. It's
San Francisco. Yeah.
Say again.
Or in San Francisco.
The
county and the city of San Francisco. you have people who are descendants of Chinese immigrants who actually still live in the city of San Francisco because they have rent control, I believe.
Yeah.
So yeah, their homes would be worth
Yeah.
tons.
And so if they qualified at one point for the federal supplement, they will no longer qualify that for it at this point because their house is
Fiscal
estimated.
year, what did we say last week? Fiscal year starts on October 1st, I believe, or was it?
Yeah. Federal fiscal year starts on October 1st. This starts in 2028.
So remember, I keep saying a lot of stuff is not going to happen to 28 in the election year, and so you won't feel the full effect until the following year. Well, President Trump's out of office by that time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. So continuing on, because for people who live in a city and a city that this will predominantly hurt blue states. That's the honest truth. With home valuations. So that's who it's going to hit and hurt most. Agriculturally, they'll be fine. So that's what this looks like it's targeted towards to me. So 71109, this section generally restricts beginning. There we go. This section generally restricts beginning in fiscal year 2027 federal payment of Medicaid and CHIP to services for individuals who are U.S. residents and are either U.S. citizens, lawful permanent residents, Cuban Haitian entrants, or compact of free association migrants lawfully residing in the United States. The restrictions do not apply to certain mandatory emergency services provided to individuals who are not lawfully residing in the United States or to optional services provided to certain lawfully residing children and pregnant women. Is that how much it is? Is that the norm for houses in that area, Darden? 400K to 500K. That's about right.
The medium. Yeah.
Okay. So hopefully it'll fly over depending on what happens with the feds in a little bit and how houses begin to appraise in the near future, especially with Jerome Powell leaving office. I don't know what's going to happen.
We don't know for sure if that Fed chairman is going to be replaced. President Trump has not stated for sure if he's going to replace him.
Okay, fair enough. That's a good point.
That's the kind of power that he can't control.
Yeah, absolutely. So continuing on, the current law authorizes federal payment with respect to additional categories of individuals, including refugees, non-citizens, granted parole for at least 1 year, asylum or related relief and violence against women act, self-petitioners. The section excludes these individuals from eligibility. And the section provides $15 million for FY 2026 for the CMS to implement these provisions. Section 711-110. This section reduces the Medicaid federal matching rate for emergency services provided to the individuals who are not lawfully residing in the United States, but who would otherwise qualify for Medicaid as part of the medical expansion population in states that have expanded Medicaid. Specifically, the section limits, beginning in FY 27, the Medicaid federal matching rate for emergency services provided to individuals who are not lawfully residing in the United States to the same matching rate as would otherwise apply for such services, rather than the enhanced federal matching rate for states that have expanded Medicaid. So again, this part is directly for quote unquote illegal immigrants, undocumented peoples. This section provides $1 million for FY 26 for the CMS to implement these provisions. Subchapter B, preventing wasteful spending, section 711-11. This section delays until FY 2035 implementation of certain provisions of the rule titled Medicare and Medicaid programs, minimum staffing standards for long-term care facilities, and Medicaid institution payment transparency reporting, which was issued by CMS on May 10th, 2024. Interesting point. I don't remember if it was yesterday or this morning, but I got in my chat GPT and I said, hey, chat, what should I invest my money in? Home medical services. They were down right now, but it said play the long game with it. And long story short, and so home medical services was one of the things it said. Oddly enough. Am I going to do it? I don't know. We'll see.
Well, wait a minute. Somehow, some way, the population is living longer. That's why they want to increase the retirement age past 70. So even with the bad foods, people are still living longer.
Yeah.
And I guess when you create certain diseases, if that's what the conspiracy people say, you create COVID, you got to knock off so many people. So the first COVID, the second COVID, if it didn't knock off enough people, we'll create another one and get you up out of here. Believe like that. I'm not saying that these people on this podcast believe that. I'm just putting out there for others who believe like that.
Right. That's that Bill Gates theory.
No, he was the one that was part of it. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I remember when he first put that out, it was like population control. We've got to reduce the population, and people are living long anyway. But yes,
that's the type of evilness.
Yeah. I'm just throwing that out there. No, he said this a while ago.
People talk about people being evil. If I come down to your house and steal your $20 out of your bedroom, yeah, that's evil. When I say there's too many people living on earth, who made me God to say that? Who made me God to dictate on this earth that there's too many people? That's a God type complex. So whoever you're worshiping or whoever you're supporting, when your thought process is like that,
yeah.
No.
I agree. But that's the power that the consumer has given to these billionaires, unfortunately. And
well, I would say, yeah, they became billionaires, but who helped them get there?
They're the consumers.
Right, but it all starts with the money. Who created the money?
Okay, I know where you're going with this.
Because when he became so famous or so wealthy in the 90s, they slowed him down.
Yeah.
And he was giving away all his money. He acted like he didn't care about making money anymore. I thought that was wrong.
Why?
Because he had a business idea. Mm-hmm. He ran with it. Him and his crew, they became successful. And then they became so successful, the government said, nope, you're going to stop. But I thought we were in a capitalist society.
Oh.
I remember that. It was so clear.
Yeah.
Him to Washington, D.C., and then after he came out of that, he didn't care about money anymore. He didn't care about running his company. He was stepping down within a couple of years. He acted like he stopped caring.
That's a good point. I'm going to have to go back and reread
about Steve Jobs didn't have that problem. They never came after him, but cancer caught him.
Yeah.
It's
yeah. So we are looking at the One Big Beautiful Bill, and this is for TikTok. I'm reading line by line verbatim the section on Medicaid, and sometimes what we mentioned will take us off to lived experiences. Actually, that is what's happening, because some of the stuff that we're reading, we're like, oh yeah, remember this happened in the 90s, or this happened during this time, so on and so forth, because it's not something that they've moved away from. They stopped putting it out there as much, and they just simply implemented it. And some of that stuff is coming out in the bill that we're seeing.
And hey, I want to say thank you to Koa N. He said that 400 to 500,000 for Sacramento. He said that was the medium price.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody who knows what it's not really the average, it's the price in the middle of the highest in a range of numbers.
Yeah, that's their median. So, and then that's still pretty high. That's still well, not for California, no. Don't get me wrong, but for the rest of the country, yeah. $400,000 to $500,000. That's
yeah. Sacramento County is not. It's not the poorest county in California, but it's definitely not the wealthiest. Definitely not. Silicon Valley, and San Jose. Oh God, I think it's San Jose County. I think that's right. Yeah, San Jose County, Los Angeles.
Oh yeah. So down by Santa Clara. So Santa Clara, you have Mountain View.
Santa Clara, San Jose.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, you got the Mountain View area. You've got the Los Alamitos area. And those are the not too far from that, like 5-10 minutes up the road from Mountain View is freaking Stanford, right? So these places are ridiculously expensive. There's another place near Mountain View. Goodness gracious. I'm trying to think of the town.
Los Altos.
Los Altos. Yes. Los Altos. Ridiculous.
Oh, and there's Los
Ridiculous.
Altos and so Los Altos or Los Gatos. Oh God, it's
So Los Altos and Gatos. Yeah. So Los Gatos is it's not too far away, but those places, as far as being expensive to live, it's like the houses, they're starting at $5-6 million. It's crazy. Absolutely crazy. Say hi, Stir Fry. That's my man, Stir Fry, right there.
you know, all that whole Silicon Valley, like you said, Santa Clara County, then Los Angeles County is gigantic.
Mm-hmm.
In Sacramento, I see what Cole is saying about East Sacramento. That's still within Sacramento County, but East Sacramento has some really prestigious homes. The city and county of San Francisco.
Yeah.
It's the city and county of San Francisco.
Yeah.
Outrageous. And then if you go out of Los Angeles County, I think you go to Orange County, outrageous.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So, though, but I don't, you know, if you look for minorities in Orange County, you're not going to find it. So, but in Los Angeles, you will.
Yeah. Yeah, those homes are crazy. Hell, in Utah, Palo Alto. Thank you, Darden. Palo Alto. That's what I was trying to think of. Palo Alto is absolutely crazy. Where you going, Stir Fry? Where you going? It's my kitten. I don't know what he's trying to do or where he's going, but he's going somewhere. You see something? All right. So I will continue on. I will go to so just to continue on 7-11-11. This section delays until FY 2035 implementation of certain provisions of the rules titled Medicare and Medicaid programs, minimum staffing standards for long-term care facilities and Medicaid institutions payment transparency reporting, which was issued by CMS on May 10/24. Specifically, the section delays the provisions of the rule that, among others, changes: 1, establish minimum staffing standards for nurses in the Medicare and Medicaid long-term care facilities, including requiring a nurse to be on site 24/7 and requiring a minimum of 3.48 total nurse staffing hours per resident per day. And 2, require state Medicaid programs to report on payments to direct care workers and support staff of nursing facilities and intermediate care facilities for individuals with intellectual disabilities. Want me to read it again?
No, I heard you. I'm trying to figure out what's the mindset behind that.
I don't know. I don't know. I honestly don't know. I really don't know. But outside of reducing staff and requirements, and I don't know. I don't know. I'll dig deeper into that to see if I can find anything that specifically touches that. Section 7-11-12. This section shortens the window for retroactive Medicaid coverage. Specifically, the section specifies that beginning with the first quarter after December 31st, 2026.
That's a year out.
Yep.
Yeah, more than a year out.
Medicaid coverage may begin retroactively, 1, for individuals in the Medicaid expansion population 1 month prior to the application filing date, and 2, for all other individuals 2 months prior to the application filing date. Additionally, CHIP coverage may retroactively begin 2 months prior to the application filing date. Currently, coverage may begin 3 months prior to the application filing date. Yeah, it is for control. It is for control. I can agree to that, because the Medicaid portion of this bill, it restricts states to try and get funding, right? And if they don't comply with what these provisions are laying out, they won't get their full funding. And the restriction and the control that Medicaid is pushing out is absolutely crazy, unfortunately. And it's almost impossible. What's going to happen is there's going to be a funnel that when people begin to go to file for Medicaid or Medicaid, Medicare, there's several things that are happening. 1, age limits, right? Children 14 and under qualify for Medicaid, Medicare stuff, just like SNAP. and I'll read where it says, it points that out in a little bit. 18 and above, there are different statutory provisions that come with this.
What about 15 to 18?
Those I don't know if I skipped it in here, but I didn't see 15 to 18. But I would guess, and this is me guessing, right? This is not in the bill. This part is not in the bill. This is me guessing. But for Missouri, you are legally able to work at 15 and a half.
Okay.
Right. And so what this bill also goes to talk about is if businesses are covering healthcare, they can begin to write a bigger block of that off in their taxes. So that's a little bit further down. This section provides $10 million for FY26 for the CMS to implement these provisions. Section 71113. This section prohibits federal Medicaid payments for 1 year to nonprofit healthcare providers that serve predominantly low-income, medically underserved individuals, i.e., essentially community providers, if the provider, 1, primarily furnishes family planning services, reproductive health, and related care, 2, offers abortions in cases other than that of rape, incest, or life-threatening conditions for the woman, and 3, in FY 2023, received federal and state Medicaid payments totaling more than $800,000. I want to reread that section because I think this one is actually pretty important. It's section 71113. And what it says is this section prohibits federal Medicaid payments for 1 year to nonprofit healthcare providers that serve predominantly low-income, medically underserved individuals, i.e., essential community providers, if the provider, 1, primarily furnishes family planning services, reproductive health, and related care, 2, offers abortions in cases other than that of rape, incest, or life-threatening conditions for the woman, and 3, in FY 2023, received federal and state Medicaid payments totaling more than $800,000.
You said rape, incest, what was the other one?
Rape, incest, or life-threatening conditions for the woman. Rape, incest, or life-threatening conditions for the woman. Now, these funds are being prohibited by the federal government.
And you're going back to fiscal year 23.
23. Yep.
And then so they're prohibiting it starting when?
This starts FY20 this year.
FY25?
6. Well, I'm sorry. It starts this year, October 1. October 1.
So it's FY26, but it starts this year on October 1st, 2025.
Yes.
Now I remember what we talked about last week. Now
yeah. Yep. The section provides $1 million for FY 2026 for CMS to implement these provisions.
And so any nonprofit from fiscal year 23. 800, you said 800 million?
800,000.
800, I'm sorry, 800,000.
Yeah. So if they receive $800,000, which more than likely they have from 3 years ago up till now,
okay,
they are prohibited for 1 year from receiving federal funds.
I wonder why it's just 1 year though.
That's a good question.
Why didn't they just make it until 28 on his way out?
That's a great question. I don't know.
Maybe who's running their financial tables or actuary tables, they knew how they can nickel and dime. Because when you do all these exceptions to the rule and this and that, you have somebody nickel and dime and saying, okay, we can do these kind of, make this kind of saving on something else and put it all together.
Yeah.
Okay, we made this much cuts, but we're adding this much to the deficit. But the money we add to the deficits for military spending. Oh God, what was the other one? Military spending. increase military spending,
And the
cut.
actual budget,
Yeah, yeah.
the overall budget.
Oh shit.
And so when I continued reading, and I didn't finish it. I didn't go into it because we'll do it next week. But it called for increasing a specific budget up to $5 trillion. But we'll talk about that next week.
All right.
It's ridiculous.
Look, I'm so tired. Your lighting's now is real good now.
Yeah, yeah.
Tired. Okay. And
Yeah.
I was taking notes and writing stuff down.
And so it's actually almost over. There are still a few provisions in here, but I'll continue on for a little while longer, and then we can begin to pivot to something else after a while, because this was very boring reading. It was confusing in a lot of different cases, and trying to
like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And trying to figure out and read between the lines. It's like this. It doesn't make sense. The timetables still don't make sense. The provisions, the funding that they're giving out of it don't make sense whatsoever.
So if you're reading this and you have an average level or above level type of reading comprehension, and you're reading this entire bill, there's no way those Congress men and women are reading these entire bills. So their staff is taking sections of the bill and then giving a summary of it. But if it takes all this type of comprehension, it's no good. No good.
Yeah. I ain't the sharpest tool in the shed, but damn it, I'm in the shed. And my mom used to make us read. She believed in it, and that's something that stuck with all of us. And trying to figure some of this foolishness out it's ridiculous. You got to have somebody, like you said. You got to break this into sections. You got to break it into teams. You guys want to take Medicare, Medicaid. You guys want to take whatever else is in here. It's crazy. It's crazy. What's up, big bro?
Here's the other thing. If you try to use Chat GPT or any of the other AI programs and say, hey, take a look at this bill, take a look at this section and analyze it for me, it may do it correctly. It may not.
Yeah.
And so you have to still kind of go over it and say, hey, I don't think you did this right. And then it may come back and say, hey, you know what? You're right. I didn't do it right. Well, wait a minute. If I didn't want it done right, I could have did it myself.
Yeah.
If I didn't want it done right the first time.
Absolutely. But because there's so much back and forth in this bill that even AI is having a problem filtering a lot of this stuff.
If AI can't figure it out, you're done.
Yeah.
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 There's a lot of blank shit in it. Okay. Yeah.
There's a lot of money in it. Yeah. What's going on, man?
Hey. How you guys doing?
Good.
You always catch me when I'm resting. Then I don't want to get up. Okay. All right. The Big Beautiful Bill. I haven't read it. And it's amazing when I listen to you about all the stuff that's in there. But I tell you, that's why I had to hop on. I've been listening for a while. Mm-hmm. And all that stuff that you're reading to me is control. It's utter control. So I picked that out when he first got in office. He's starting to hand all of this stuff to the states, right?
Yeah.
You got to know that if you hand all of this stuff back over to the state's education department, all of that, every state is not self-sustaining. All 50 states depend on the federal government. So if you take them and tell them, hold on, the wife calling, yes. Change what? The who? I'll come and do it. Give me a second. If you take and give all of these departments back to the state cannot handle all of that. They need funding from the federal government, right? Mm-hmm. Now, if you put the right people in place or if you have the wrong people in place, say like Powell, this guy Powell, he don't want to listen to what the president say. The president want him to drop the rates, and he's saying no. But I'm just giving that as an example.
Yeah.
But if there was something that Powell needed from him, right, he can hold that over their heads, just like he's doing with the colleges. Hey, if you don't stop certain programs that I want you to stop, I'm pulling your money from you. It's control. And what I am afraid of, I am chronically afraid of this. If and I'm with you, James. I am not a Democrat. I am not a Republican. I like to stay independent, right? If this guy, I mean, if we don't win, get those Republicans, the ones that's in there right now, if we don't get them out of office in the midterms, we are in trouble.
Oh yeah.
And that's all I can say about that. We are in, I mean, and not just I as a person that don't like what they're doing, even their base is in trouble. This is one thing that the MAGA don't realize is that yes, like I think we went over that before. The interest rates are too high, but there has to be a medium, right? I would say around 5.25% would do it, but Trump is not going to stay there. He wants it to be 2 or 3%, and you would bust the economy if you do that. I mean, I would make good. I mean, I would be golden, but I know the economy is going to bust if you do that. There you go.
Yeah, so I mean, I honestly don't blame Powell. That's the honest truth. And the reason why I say I don't blame Powell is if Powell begins to allow the president of the United States to control the Fed, well, then he's failed at his job.
Right.
Right?
Yes.
Go ahead, Rich. What are you about to say?
It's tricky.
Well, no, that's not pulling out any political.
Listen.
They might pull, but
listen to this. You know that I'm anti-Fed. Period.
Yeah.
Okay? So if the voters in the majority won the majority vote and the electoral college, if they put him in, and he wants that Fed to move, I'm with the people. The president should be able to make that Fed move in his or her direction. So the Fed says, "Oh, we're totally independent. We do things independent of politics." That's an absolute lie. Absolute lie. You do the bidding of a private group of bankers. That's what the Fed does.
Okay.
The very first central bank or federal first Bank of America to the second bank until they created the Federal Reserve in 1913. So it's tricky. So when Coa said that he's trying to control the colleges, he's right, but there's more to it. You can't go on college campuses being so anti-Semitic or being so violent towards the Jewish students. It'd be the same way if they were being violent towards the black students. But it's a complicated history with Israel and Palestine. That's why I said sometimes it's a little tricky with President Trump, because he's not completely wrong. But what I didn't see him do is when the Charlottesville rally, and they said the Jews will not replace us. I didn't hear him come down and get in that chest of those particular white men and say, "Hey, we ain't having that here." He didn't do that.
No, that's when he claimed that there are fine people on both sides.
So in one minute, you're protecting the Jews, but in the next minute, when you're talking about the Jews will replace us, I can't find you.
Hey, it's all of
that's a good point. I see what you're saying with that. Yeah, I see exactly what you're saying with that, Rich. Go ahead, Don.
It's all a smoke screen. Everything he do is a smoke screen for a bigger evil. And one of his evil is I'm going to hit on it again, like we said the last time I was on here. There are $260 trillion It might be even more than that in land. You gotta Google that.
I'll
right?
look it up. Yeah. I'll
And,
look
and
it up
land,
next week.
and you know, remember they keep saying the United States has $260 trillion in like
Federal land.
funds or money. It's not money. It's the places like Yellowstone National Park,
Which is another blow down.
West federal land.
Zion National Park, the Grand Canyon, right? On the outskirts of all of those places, that land was set aside. That's what they out there.
So
If you Google it,
hold on. You're saying it's 260 trillion in U.S. federal land.
Assets.
yes. Okay, so what they were saying, I've been hearing this over the past 3 months, right? And they were saying that on CNN. And Fox News, right? They were saying, the United States got 260 trillion or somewhere like that in reserve, that it can help every American. But the poor people won't be able to reach the land once they reach and buy the land once they release it anyway, because they're not going to have the money to buy it. Only
Right.
the billionaires. The billionaires is out there all of that land. I researched it when I kept. They wouldn't say that it was land, and I was like, what are they talking about? We have 200 and hidden treasure, $260 trillion in hidden treasures, and I'm thinking, what are they talking about? It's the preserve that they preserved back in the late 1800s. All of that preserved, like the Redwood Forest, Yellowstone, Yosemite National Park. They got all kinds of national parks here, Zion's, the Grand Canyon, the Bryce Canyon, the Snake Canyon. I mean, all of those places that they even got reserved, like forest preserves, like every state got forest preserves and all of that stuff. That's what they're talking about. And what do Trump and his family deal with? They deal in land and they deal with real estate. That's why he wants to release that land so they can go and buy it up. Now, what do billionaires do? What are they famous for? They don't use their own money, right? They are not going to use their own money. They use somebody else's money. That's why they want the interest rates to drop low. So the lower they can get that interest rate, the lower they can get a bank loan and go and buy the money, because they're not going to lose. They're not going to use their money.
No, of course not. Of course
And-
not. That's not how you say it.
I think I said it to you guys before. Donald Trump Jr. came here. I was coaching softball at the high school. So the head coach showed me pictures. That's when the first term, he showed me pictures of Donald Trump Jr. coming to Utah, right? Utah has a lot of precious land, right?
Yes, it does.
And
Yeah.
I mean, tons of it, right? Unbuilt on, right? And then he said, oh yeah, he came here hunting because he liked to hunt. And a friend of his went and took him on an excursion, right? And so he joined in with the friend. And we were on the bus to another high school, and he said, yeah, see this picture? And he's a good guy. He was telling me all that. And I was like, I didn't tell him because he is a stout Republican, and that would have been an argument right there on the bus. But I came home and I talked to my wife, and I said, oh my goodness. This guy came here, and Trump had released that land. His father had released that land right before he came here, or was releasing it. One of the two. What was that? Right. And so the thing is that he came here to buy that land. He wasn't telling that coach. He came here to buy up that land. Now he bought that land. It was federal land right on the other side. You've been here before, Glass. You see that it's like a weather tower.
Yeah.
And it actually looks over. That's for the base. It looks over Hill Air Force Base, right? And they got all the radars and stuff up there. On the other side of that land, back in the 40s, right? the 30s and 40s, the military used to train back there. That was all government land, right? They sold a lot of that land off, and that happened right after he came here. And now then they made a ski resort, and only millionaires and billionaires can go up there. And they're charging like $3 million an acre. If you want 1 acre up there, it's $3 million.
So
Hey, you got it.
hold on. Check.
Yeah, this is the true story.
No, hold on a second. You know what I'm hearing?
What's that?
I'm hearing Kevin Costner when he lost his job off that show Yellowstone. They ran him out of there, and the whole show, ironically, was about a farm. The rancher didn't want to give up his land because they wanted the real estate investors wanted to come and buy up everything.
Right.
And ironically, Kevin Costner was arguing with the producer about the direction of the show, whatever, and they ran him out of there.
Right.
Really?
So, oh yeah. And that was, so when they always tell you if you have your ratings right, you're not going anywhere, that's an absolute lie.
Yeah.
Right. And this is what it's all about, all the billionaires. If you notice one thing. During the election, right? Donald Trump brought all of them billionaires and millionaires right when he won. And some of them before. He brought them to the Oval Office. Right? They left out of there giving him $2 or $3 million. Some of them didn't even like him. But they left out of there giving him, what do you think he told them?
Well, I'm not taking that away, but I want to also insert this part of it as well.
Mm-hmm.
And this is my conspiracy theory as to where we are right now. And it's the new oligarchical class that has been made for the last couple of decades from Silicon Valley. The tech bros who are pushing the AI narratives, and they're soaking up, absorbing, and monopolizing the data that they've mined, and they're using it. That's why it was such an important task for Elon and his cronies to go into this Social Security Administrative Office and begin to gut it the way they did.
Yes.
As well as other various offices that have our information, our personal information, right? So it's established a new class, and maybe taking in consideration what you're saying, that new oligarchical class, they want land just like the older oligarchs have. They want that power too.
Right. Right. And also it's it's cumbersome just to think of how what hold. How can you have a hold on over 200 politicians? How could that be? You know how that could be?
Yeah,
it's all driven by money, the almighty dollar. All of them are in it for riches.
They're not in it for money anymore.
You don't think they're in it for money?
No, they're in it for power.
For power.
They're not in it for money.
Okay, so
this goes to why I agree with Rich in certain aspects when it comes to the Federal Reserve, because the fiat dollar is not actually consistent. It's not actually real, right? It fluctuates. There's no real definitive foundation for the dollar. It can increase in value or decrease in value depending on what the actual Federal Reserve wants it to do.
Okay.
But they want power. They want the power they want power.
So what would you do with power?
Rule, govern.
Okay, you rule and govern, but with power, right? You rule in power. Okay, I ruled for 3 years. I ruled for a decade. That's gone, right? Then
then what, right?
It has to be money. Money has to be involved in it. It has to.
You know what?
It has
You know
to.
what? So I'm going to agree with both of you. And I think when you say money and Mr. Glass says power, I come up with the word perception. So as long as you
Okay.
get money out of thin air and it's perceived that you need that money to go out and buy stuff, then that money has value. So who
Yes.
controls the ability to have money print out of thin air is the Federal Reserve. But who can put pressure on the Federal Reserve to print or to expand or retract the money supply? It can only come from the U.S. government,
Congress.
from the president, because the
Oh.
Congress can't do anything.
Okay. I see what you say. Okay, I got you.
Allegedly, the Fed is supposed to be an organization that has federal oversight. Because I think it was, which amendment was it? They did an amendment to where the U.S. government could put taxes on people. Then the Congress voted to let the Fed money up. So both of you are right. It's about power, but it's always money produces the power. Or
It's that perception. It's that
Right.
tangible perception.
Right. I
Yeah.
believe that you can't have money without power, and you can't have power without money. Money is the root to all evil, and hey, you got to have money to push your power.
It's the love of money that's the root. But
Right. And I believe that Trump wants to insert himself in society as the richest man on earth.
Now, here's what I'll say about that. That won't happen.
No.
Number two, this idea of making money in the White House and the Democrats were accusing Trump of doing this. So Trump's now turned around and said, hey, wait a minute. Barack Obama, former president, made a lot of money, but he made his money after he left the White House. But
Yes.
President Trump try to say that he was setting it all up. So as soon as he left, he could make his money.
sure,
Thank you.
that's what all presidents have done.
Exactly.
But-
That's the culture
but-
of
Mr. Trump is making his money off the backs of all Americans while he in there,
yes.
and he makes no bones about it.
Yeah, he
No.
told you he was a businessman. He told you that. Yeah.
Right? Yes.
He
Yes.
didn't lie.
Oh well, you're right about that.
He didn't lie about that part.
Right. Yeah. I mean, you know, in a sense, in a way, I'm not really. I can't say that I'm mad at him about making money. It's just the other things that's coming along with you know, going down that path of him making money. You know, things like and don't get me wrong, I do, and I have said this, and my wife can attest to that. I have said some of the things about immigration that they are implementing. I have said that for the last 30 years. I said if you come to America illegal, then everything you do in America should be illegal. I.e., you have a baby. If you here illegal, the baby should be illegal.
Okay. I see what you're saying.
Right. If you anything you do should be illegal, right? So, but I do believe it. I do believe that they're going about this process the wrong way. There's a right way and a wrong way to do anything.
But check this out. Number one, he actually told the truth on this. He said the 14th Amendment was only for the descendants of the enslaved African, the black babies. He told the truth on that. The liberal media never wanted to acknowledge that. So when all the illegal immigrants try to jump on the 14th Amendment, what they're doing is you're trying to hijack the descendants, such as myself, of the enslaved African. That was for us, 13th, 14th, and 15th. Right. But you won't hear none of the liberal media really emphasize that. That's the first point. Second point, he said there's a right way and the wrong way. Mr. Glass, James, brought this to my attention, and now I hear it on TV. You come over here illegally, get caught the first time, misdemeanor. Second time, it's a felony.
Felony. Yeah.
All right. In order to get all 15 million or 10 million or how many of these people out of here, you're going to have to expedite the process. Because if you don't, you're going to have judges who are liberal judges. They're going to slow the process down to where you can't get everybody out of the country.
Right.
His third point is, if he cannot deport illegal immigrants in a higher number than former President Barack Obama, President Trump will lose his mind.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
He's narcissistic like that. He's a malignant narcissist. But let me.
You know where all of that come from, right? You know what this tiff with Obama comes from, right?
Yeah, when President Obama roasted his ass.
Yeah.
When he did what?
When he roasted him.
Oh, right. And told him that he would never be president.
Yeah.
Openly. Right. Yeah. That's where it all coming from.
You know what? Yeah. If you talk stuff about a person from New York, dig in.
You're from New York then?
Them 5 boroughs?
Mm-mm.
He is a New Yorker through and through.
So, but let me reverse the course just a little bit, and then let's talk about the truth of the 14th, 15th, and 16th Amendments, because I do agree the intention behind why it was written, right, was for the children of the enslaved Africans
and indigenous people too.
Sure.
Nope.
No, actually, no. It was actually for our descent, our ancestors.
Okay.
Because they got stubborn land on the reservation.
Okay.
Okay. And so let me just because I made this point once before, and I don't disregard that, because that is the fact. However, we also have to take in consideration that the first, second, third, fourth, fifth, so on and so forth amendments weren't written with us in mind, but we are able to actually benefit from them because of the 14th Amendment.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when we take all things in consideration and they begin to legislate or reinterpret, which this administration has been the biggest advocate of reinterpreting constitutional law. When they go back, they reinterpret the constitutional law and they begin to talk about they expanded, kind of like they're expanding and contracting Medicare and Medicaid. Well, then they take in consideration all these other folks, the babies of all the other folks. Well, then they're entitled to all of the other amendments as well, and the Constitution actually begins to speak to that as well.
Wait a minute. The first 12 wasn't for slaves or the enslaved Africans. The first 12 was not. And then
I agree.
Right. So when he goes to do his reinterpretation of the Constitution, actually he's telling the truth on the 14th one. Somebody in his cabinet, maybe it was Stephen Miller, maybe it was
Stephen effing Miller.
I know that's Stephen Miller.
I can't stand that motherfucker, man.
You don't like Stephen Miller?
I hate Stephen Miller with a passion.
Somebody told him about the 14th.
Yeah.
Somebody told him the truth on that.
He's evil incarnate. He's evil incarnate. I can't stand Stephen Miller.
He said he's gonna run for president.
And
so get your seat buckle.
If he runs for president, I will too.
He's not running.
He cannot be. He shouldn't even be in the position he's in now. He's one of the most dangerous mouthpieces in America today.
No, listen.
He is. His uncle has spoken out against him.
Listen, you're saying this now. I heard all this from the Republicans about Obama being the Antichrist and he's going to destroy the country. This country is still here.
Here's the difference. No, I'm not saying Stephen Miller is going to destroy the country. I'm saying that him as a person, he's a POS. He's a POS.
I think anybody. I had that conversation with my wife today because we were riding down the street and I listen to all the news channel. I don't listen to just one. I listen even Fox News. I listen to all of them. But it was some garbage that they were saying on there, and then my wife said, "Well, why would they say that? It is not true." I said, "Well, we have to understand that if you pay me $10 million, I might get up in that chair too. I mean, $10 million a year. I mean, I'm just saying. I'm just saying, and that's why I say that money is the root to all evil." Listen. Without power, and you don't have money. I mean, with money and power go hand in hand.
So check this out. When it talks about people's opinions, fact, defamation, and all this, I guess you guys heard that. I think yesterday or today, Candace Owens is being sued by the president of France and his wife because I guess Candace Owens said that the wife was a boy.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now she said she made those comments a while ago.
Well,
And the only thing that I'll say to that is I hope she has the day that she deserves.
you know, I don't know what. So, in other words, what is the First Amendment? What
It
is
ain't
the
got nothing to
First
do with
Amendment all
freedom.
about? Explain that to me.
Freedom.
It's actually multiple different things. It's
As long
not
as you
just one
don't
thing.
defame somebody, as long as you don't put somebody's life in danger by inciting violence, that's my best opinion.
So
Freedom of press, freedom of
I
religion.
can't say I believe you are a woman.
Now, as a
But
fact, you can't know.
No, I
not
can't.
if
Really?
it becomes defamation. It can
Oh,
become defamation
I did not
if
know
you
that.
be
I thought it was.
yes.
I thought it was straight across the board.
No. If you begin
If
to
Freedom
hurt
of speech.
somebody,
if a,
and like we're going through that NIL stuff right now, the name, image, and likeness stuff. If you begin to damage a public figure, especially a president's wife, and her name, image, and likeness, and remember, it's not just America. Now we're talking about a global thing, and you're damaging these politicians and their name, image, and likeness. That's hurting her ability to actually make money.
Oh,
here's if you do it in humor, you're protected.
Yeah.
Doing it as a fact.
oh,
So
Yeah.
if I said James girl and he has a vagina, he was born with a vagina, but he had a sex change when he got 16 or 17. That's a
and if
completely
that's not fact, then that's slander.
It can be.
yeah,
It can
that's
be.
like,
You can fight that.
yeah.
If that statement ends up damaging my ability to get hired at a job, or if it damages my profit, if I've shown that I've made so much profit at a specific amount of time, and then that statement is made and my profit drops, I can sue you because that's slanderous.
Wow. Hmm.
So there are consequences to the First Amendment, and that's what people
Okay.
forget. So you can say anything you want, but you got to
Hey,
be careful.
it even runs deeper because oh god, Colbert.
Yes. Yeah.
In his case, he's just laughing, telling jokes, but now he's out of the job.
He's out of a
Yeah,
job.
but for years, for decades, for centuries, comedians roast people, and all of a sudden, it's
Because President Trump is saying you've gone above and beyond. You're not just being comical. You're trying to take away my stature, my dignity,
Credibility.
my whiteness, my greatness. You're trying to take
okay.
all that away from me, and you try to
Okay,
do
so
so that I wouldn't
so
get reelected. And you
so
try to
and all of and okay, so and him calling people Pocahontas
Hey,
and
look. Hey, I don't disagree with
I
you.
mean I
I
mean
don't disagree with you. But Elizabeth Warren, if she was going to do something, she should have done it at that point.
but see
She
he's
should have muzzled him then.
I'll tell you he's joking. It's no harm, no foul. He's just joking.
Right.
But the way
Gotcha. Gotcha.
and
Well,
little Marco.
listen, family, I got to get ready to jump ship. We can again, and I'm glad we had this quick break because reading this bill is it's tough. There's a lot of confusing information in it, but we're gonna power through as much as possible. We're not gonna give up on reading this bill and informing the people of what's actually going to take place, if not now, in the future, right? And that's just in the true spirit of transparency. So nobody can tell me, oh, you're just repeating a talking point. You don't do any research, because I beg to differ. I'll do more. I will go up just because somebody says that to me. I will dig in and I will read all night.
Yeah.
I will read all night.
And what's my man here name?
Rich.
Rich. Okay, Rich. That 260 trillion. I don't know if you want to hit on it on your next podcast, but I want you to research that and see what you get out of that because you can even go back to like do a search on some of the news places. They are talking about hidden treasures in the United States. And when I went to Google it or AI it, and it's started talking about all the land that they have preserved in the United States.
Sounds good.
Right.
And so also what I want to make sure we do, because you sent us a topic that you wanted to cover.
Oh yeah, on the taxes.
Yeah, on the taxes. And so I
Right.
want to make sure that we touch on that for you as well.
Okay.
And if you and the stuff you sent me, I'll probably be at home when we do that. That way I can pull up the information that you sent.
Right.
And folks can see what you've got in black and white. But
Right.
you're definitely more than welcome to begin to lead the charge. I'll introduce it, but you lead the charge because that's going to be your topic that you wanted to present to the people.
Okay. I actually got that from a what seminar was that, hun, that we went to? What's Oh, it was a trust because I'm putting all my properties in the trust and everything. Okay. So they was going over taxes. They talked about the big, beautiful bill. I don't know it. I don't know about it in depth, but they talked about that and they wrote out a lot of things of how it's gonna positively impact certain people. Yeah. And I'm like, wait a minute, how is this a big, beautiful bill for taxes when it's only going to benefit certain people?
Because that's who it's supposed
I didn't ask them that question in the seminar, but I'm just saying, I'm thinking it in my mind. How is that possible? How could it be good? I mean, how could it be good for the people when it's only and in fact what she said that corporations are going to make good. If you have a business, you're going to make good.
So everybody in the middle class is going to benefit from this tax reduction, but will they benefit as much as the wealthy? No.
Right. That's what I'm getting at. So but anyway, and that's why I wanted to hit on it. So
okay, yeah, we'll definitely we can do that next week. We can bring it in with the part of the big beautiful bill that we'll be covering. I think it'll be a good and timely message to talk about that when we go through this other part. And I'll specifically look up the tax portion in this bill and start reading some of that, reading from there, and then we can supplement that with your topic, with what you wanted to.
One quick thing, and then I know you want to wrap up. Koa, when you do your trust, are you doing a irrevocable? Or are you doing a revocable trust?
Okay, I am doing just a straight trust, not irrevocable, because if you do a irrevocable trust, then everything that goes into the trust, you can use it, as you you just give up control of all your money, all your assets that you put in there, that you place in there. You can use it as you are. Okay, so the way it was told to me, okay, if I put 1.5 million in that trust, right, I could only take out $100,000 a year, right? And if I take that $100,000 out, right, that becomes taxable. But everything that I put in the trust is not taxable.
Okay.
Right?
Well, then you need to figure out how to take over 430. That way, your taxes are cheaper.
No, you can't. You can't. You can't. And this right here, that's an irrevocable trust, right? Okay. And so say like me and my wife, we travel a lot, right? Say like if our plane go down, which that's prevalent nowadays. But I blame Trump. But anyway, you didn't hear that. but yeah, I blame him for anything, but everything. But you didn't hear that. So, say for instance, if something happened to us, right? We fall ill, we die, right? Yeah. Yeah. Everything that we have in the trust go to charity. Oh. Our children don't get anything in that irrevocable trust.
Unless you designate that.
No. In the irrevocable trust, they don't get anything.
Wow.
That is
Yes, and I told him I would never. I won't. No, I won't do that one. So there's
No.
another trust.
Wait a minute, hold on. That doesn't sound right. You better get a second opinion on that. That don't sound-
No. There's another trust. It's two types of trust. So I'm getting a revocable trust.
No, wait
right?
a minute. Hold on. I'm begging you. What they told you about the irrevocable trust, you better get an opinion on that one.
Why you say that?
I have my reasons, but you need to get a second opinion.
Well,
If you do the revocable trust, you run into some problems, and if someone tries to sue you, they can sue that trust. They did that.
I'm glad
Yeah.
we're talking about this.
In a revocable trust, they cannot sue that trust, right?
Yeah,
and oh no, you're right. They can, but if everything is in the LLC, right?
Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to place everything in an LLC, right?
Oh.
An individual, all 6 homes, I'm putting in individual LLCs, right?
I tell you what, because I know everybody's tired tonight. The next time we talk, we'll talk, and then we'll go to the back room, and then we'll really talk.
We'll focus on this next week.
We'll talk across social media. We can talk.
Text.
Let's focus on that next week. That gives me something to kind of regroup on and not read so much monotonous information. I'll go do some digging on revocable.
Change it up a little bit, right?
Because I've got a small knowledge about those two types of things, but I want to know more. I need to know more, and our audience needs to know more as well. Because I know money, the perception of money is power, but actually knowledge, and not just knowledge, but the actioning of knowledge is power.
Yes, sir. Agreed.
LLC for your homes. We'll talk behind the room. We'll talk off. Some things I don't talk about on camera. I've just.
Yep.
Okay, you got my Facebook. You can IM me.
Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So with that being said, gentlemen, let's move into final thoughts. And Darwin, we're gonna put you up first for your final thoughts.
My final thoughts.
Yeah.
Man, my everything is chop suey to me, man. It's I mean, I just think I mean I really have a belief, and I'm going to leave it at that there's a bigger evil that's going on, and everything, the big beautiful bill, the immigration stuff, the what I mean, and every aspects of everything, everybody in his cabinet is doing, it's a smoke screen. I don't know what they popping smoke on, but it's a bigger evil that's coming.
All right.
And if he can keep you and I and everybody else talking about that little pet, I mean, I mean, the things that's going on, the things that he wants you to, that he's putting out there, even the Epstein thing. He know that they already cleared the record on that. His name is not in there no more. And he cleared his top officials, FBI and everybody else have cleared the record. Maybe they kept a maybe they hid a thumb drive away somewhere, but they didn't clear that record. And once she put it out there, you are not gonna find it.
Pam Bondi even told him that
his name
was in there.
Pam Bondi told him a few months ago his name. That's not true.
Yeah.
What's not true?
Pam Bondi.
They scrubbed his name.
So his name was in the file.
Okay.
So no, there's something with Epstein. But
okay. All right.
Yeah.
But I still think it's all. So why bring it up now? Because there wasn't nothing else to talk about.
We'll touch on that at another time.
Okay, and I'll leave it there. So
all right, I dig it. Rich, what you got for final thoughts, bro?
To be honest, I hope that people continue to vote in our great country, and I hope that people really want to see something different in this country. You can't vote Democrat or Republican. You have to vote to a third, fourth, or fifth option. As long as you keep voting from the two-headed coin, you'll get the same results. One spectrum. Thank you very much.
What can I rebut on what he said? This was, bear with me. In Utah they changed the way we vote. So you have to be a registered Republican, registered Democrat, or independent. So on election day, once you register, that's all you can vote for is a Republican.
No.
Does that make sense?
No. You have to be one of the. You said you have to be one of the three parties, but on voting day, you can vote for somebody that's on the ballot.
No. If you are, okay, when you register to vote, they ask you to what party. You do that right before like the major elections, right?
Okay.
Right. Senators, state representative, president. Okay. When you ready to vote for these guys, right? You have to register, right? And you got a timeline that you have to register. I think it's like a year. Is it a year or two before, or something like that? And you have to notate what are you voting for, Republican, Democrat, or independent. So when your ballot comes, you can only vote for what you registered for.
That's in the primary. That's primary.
Oh, that's primary?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Got it. I stand corrected then.
Hold on. Some of this stuff I've been through personally. That's why I talk fast. I don't mean to talk in a demeaning way, but that's the primary. If you're
okay.
You can only vote in the Republican primary. Now, some states will allow a person, another party, to vote in that other party primary.
Oh, I see.
Allow that. I don't think California allows.
Yeah, Utah don't allow it. That's what they don't allow. So the primary, you got to vote either.
Allow you to vote. They would not allow you to be registered in one party, vote in another party's primary.
Right.
Okay. I still believe that you should be able to vote any way you want to. Any way you want to. It's still a form of voter suppression.
Oh,
so,
and you're right, because that. Oh God, they just had a. Oh gosh, the Supreme Court took this up. I can't remember all the details, but you're right.
And another thing, and then I'll let you go. Glass. Another thing is, do you realize the reason they want to get rid of mail-in ballots? Because a computer can be manipulated. Yes, you can manipulate a computer. So I believe, as a computer, if you have a hacker on that machine, right? You go in and you vote for Trump. That's a vote for Harris, because you can change that vote through the machine. Yeah. But on that paper ballot, the only way you can get rid of that vote is to shred it or throw them away.
Yeah, you got what you got.
And then you got to open them all, right? And look at who was voted for. And then you got about you got upteen people in that, receiving that mail. I mean, just and accounting for it. Those voting machines, you cannot account for those voting machines because they can be hacked.
I think you got to turn it around. If you vote, by mail in the computer system, whatever, you can manipulate that. But if you take it in, you vote in person, when you run it through that not be able to act because it's an automated machine.
Right.
I think that's
right.
Yeah, my iPad about to die. We got to get it. let me do my final thoughts real
okay.
quick.
All right. I'm done.
So my final thoughts is I went to the gym with my lady earlier today, and we got on some treadmills, and I just want to remind everybody that health is wealth, and take the time to exercise, get it in a little bit, breathe hard, at least 30 minutes. Try to get it in. It ain't about the distance you go. It just matters that you're doing it. Exercise your body. Enjoy yourself. Enjoy your life. You know. So that's my simple, easy final thought for the evening. And with that being said, as always, we absolutely appreciate everybody that's hanging out with us on all of the different social media platforms. If you ever have anything that you would like to add to the conversation, we do post the link live on Facebook, YouTube, and every now and again, depending on where I am, on TikTok. But you can always come be a part of the panel. Your voice is absolutely valued here. That don't mean that it's going to be agreed with. We will disagree with things that you say. And so be ready
Agree
to
to
defend your
disagree.
point. Yeah, sometimes we got to
Disagree to agree.
Absolutely. But this is a way of pushing the conversation forward. And not just pushing the conversation forward, but actually having a look into the black and white of the details and letting everybody know what the fact is. And that way we can develop our opinions off of that later on down the line. So with that being said, thank y'all for coming out. God bless and good night.
Aloha.